In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this oh so cute little wall shelf decor. If you want to learn how to make it, well then follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter, and tonight's project is the cutest little hanging wall shelf. I think I'm kind of really into little shelf unit things lately. I don't know, the last couple projects, but anyway, I'm really excited to show it to you. It's super cute, and I love the way it looks, and I did a Farmhouse version and a Glam version. I made the Glam version, and I kind of give you pointers on how you can do the Farmhouse style, and in the end, I'll show you the Farmhouse style. So if you want to see how it turned out, then follow through to the end. I'd like to thank my friends at Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And if you don't know what Skillshare is, it's an online community. They have over 28,000 classes in all different types of things, whatever you might want to learn, whether it's more crafting stuff or more specific crafting stuff, or if you want to learn some technology things or something about business, or a lot of times maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to learn something about how to do Word or Excel or something. It's a great place to learn all that stuff. It's less than $10 a month for like unlimited access, so it's super affordable. But for those of you that are of my first 500 subscribers, I'm putting a link down below. You can try it for 2 months for completely free, which is the best way to go. Check it out. You're not obligated in any way to stick with it, but why not? Gosh, it's free. We all love free, don't we? There's even cooking classes on there. I mean, what's not to like? Well, check it out. It's up to you, but that link's available to you if you want to see how it works. Technology is a beautiful thing when it's working. You guys know how that goes for me. Anyway, I'm really excited to show you this project. Hit that subscribe button down below if you'd like to join our Glue Dot family, and hitting the bell next to it will inform you every time I upload a new video. Also, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up, and I love seeing what kind of things you have to say and who's watching and all that stuff, so leave me a comment down there too. Well, I think what we need to do, we need to get to this video. Let's do it. Getting started, I like to paint anything that needs painting ahead to give it time to dry. You can paint these with any type of paint that you like. I absolutely love this. I got this just on clearance somewhere. I don't even remember, at a dollar store or Dollar General, but I really love the way it sprays out. So if you haven't tried this, give it a try if you can find it at a good price. It's great stuff. It's the special purpose one. So anyway, I like the way it leaves a more smooth finish. So I'm going to get these painted, and also the piece of pool noodle that we're going to be using for the hanging part of the shelf. So I'm just going to measure out about 9 inches, and that seems to be a good length for the frames that I chose to use. Using my Sharpie, I'm just going to go around and make some marks so that I can make a consistent and even cut through the whole thing. Then to cut it, I'm just going to use an X-Acto knife. It's super easy to cut this way, and if you follow just along the dots like I'm doing, and turn it as you go, you'll get just a nice even cut through, because it has that hole in the center, so that helps. Piece of cake. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this painted as well as the other pieces, and be right back. So the next step we're going to be doing is Mod Podging onto the side pieces now that they're dry. I'm going to be doing this napkin style because I really like this style for the glam look. But you know, they have so many gorgeous napkins over there. Some beautiful butterfly ones and floral ones. So you could do whatever you like. I'm going to be doing half of this pattern here so that it comes out and covers the whole side. Now, this is my yucky side, and that's why I'm covering this side, obviously, but you don't have to worry too terribly much if your spray paint hasn't covered everything on that, because it's going to get Mod Podged. The part that's going to be the outside is the one that you really want to make sure is covered. So what we'll be doing first is see the piece, how big a piece we need to measure out, because I want to have from the center point here where the fold is, I'm going to be cutting that and then using the other part. Now I have found that it's easier to get it to lay really nice if you give a misting of water to the paper. It just helps it to lay nicer. In the case of the napkins too, it helps with that fold. It's sort of set in, so it's nice to be able to get that out. Okay, while I have that kind of soaking, I'm going to be putting Mod Podge all over this piece here. Do make sure you get it all the way to the edges so that nothing peels up on you. You're going to do that to both of the outsides of your shelf. Then we're going to be carefully placing our napkin on top of our painted piece. Now take your time on this because you want to make sure that this is really nicely placed on there so it looks almost as though it's painted on and not just Mod Podge. So another really neat thing, if you don't want to use a napkin, they have some beautifully patterned pillowcases at Dollar Tree. You can always cut a piece of the fabric and do that. Or if you have some other fabric already, you can use that. Fabric works great for Mod Podging. So work out any little bubbles or bumps or creases, but do it carefully. Once you have that all in place, you're going to give it one more coating on top with the Mod Podge just to seal it in there. I'm actually going to cut off the excess here first. And I'm doing this inside the curve here so that I can Mod Podge the edges a little bit too, because we're going to be sanding these off so we get a nice clean edge, but I want to be able to get this to follow the curve too. So that's how you get it to follow the curve. We're going to put those aside to dry, and once they're dry, we'll be removing the excess. When your piece is dry, what you're going to do is take your sandpaper. This was in a package from Dollar Tree I got, but you don't have to get it there, obviously. So what we're going to do, you see that these sides they're dry and it's kind of crunchy. And what we're going to do is gently go across downwards along this edge. You don't want to go up and in it because you don't want to sand off any of that. But if you kind of go in a downward direction, basically what it will do is cut off all that excess paper for you, but it'll still keep it a really nice clean edge. You can cut it off with an X-Acto knife if you want. I just found this to be a nicer way to get a really, really clean edge on it. So you can see how that comes off there. It's just follows exactly along with and I did it around the sides here, you can see as well. I'm going to go around and remove that whole part. Now if you did Mod Podge fabric on here, you're not going to be able to do this because of the threads, you know, it's just not going to work as well. But then at that point, probably using your X-Acto knife would be a good option. Here's what it'll look like once you've cleaned all that off. What we're going to be doing is then taking our frames, and you do want to specifically get these frames because they don't have the same type of backing on them that the other frames have. These have this little piece here. It's a little bit more like a floating frame. So it's the glass all the way through, and I think they make for nicer little shelves. The other reason is that they have a nice flat edge, which is going to help adhere better to the sides here when we want to hold our frame up. We're going to put aside the plastic and the paper, and we're just going to be using these pieces here, and this is what is going to hold that glass in for you. I opted for the Glam version, as I said, not to paint this because I kind of like it having this color to it. But the Farmhouse version, which I'm going to show you, I did paint those frames white. And I also, on those, left these side pieces white. So I'm going to show you all of that in the end. And it's great because these have the little hanging pieces also. Definitely save those because there's a lot of other projects that you'll find that you might need a hook for. So put those aside for another project. We are not done with our Mod Podge yet. What we're going to be doing now is, this is my pool noodle that I spray painted white. Now this one is going to be Mod Podged over with my napkin. So you don't have to do that if you don't want. In fact, for the Farmhouse version, I'm just going to use that plain and I'm not going to be Mod Podging anything over it. We're going to kind of do the same thing like what we did with our other piece and put the Mod Podge directly onto the foam first. Now the only reason I painted this foam is because this white napkin shows through. So I'm going to start out only doing part of it because this will be a messy mess if I don't. This is where I need that third hand out of my forehead. And we're going to start, and I'm going to just place, you can pick whatever part of the napkin you like. I think I'm going to go with that and see how it works out. So for the pool noodle that you're going to spray paint for your Farmhouse version of this, you do want to seal it with something like the decoupage just so that it doesn't come off, because it will. And keep smoothing and work your way around on this piece here until it has a nice smooth look in the way you like it. So for the pool noodle, don't miss the napkin. It makes it harder. Do it dry. I'm going to cut off the excess and then I'm going to be Mod Podging over the entire outside the same way we did on the side pieces. You can cut off some of this excess as well, but not all of it because you do want the side of the pool noodle to be covered also. Get the Mod Podge on those inside ends too. And like we did with that other part, just to help fold those down, you're going to want to do some cuts here so that you can actually get this to fold in nicely. Press down a section at a time and add a little more Mod Podge to the section that you put down so that everything keeps sticking till we have everything down. So what I'm going to be doing on this piece here is, before I put this together, I think it might be easier before I put the whole unit together to trim it around this edge here. This edge doesn't paint really well. The paint just does not, it just absorbs right in. And I tried several different types, but it just doesn't seem to want to stay. So you can get your bling wrap at Dollar Tree. I got this from Totally Dazzled, and I will leave a link below if you're interested in getting one of these ginormous rolls. It will last you your entire life. Well, maybe not, but anyway. But the Dollar Tree does have it, as I said. So you're going to figure out approximately how much you're going to need lengthwise. I'm going to just go ahead and cut a good piece of this. If you want to be a little more precise about it, you can go ahead and measure this out. What I'm going to do is just use one strand of it. So usually the one at Dollar Tree comes in either 3 or 5 strands. I'm just going to be using one to trim this edge. I'm not going to be covering the back side because this is the side that's going to go against the wall. So I'm going to be starting up here at the top and hot gluing that all the way around the edge of my board. Now for the Farmhouse style of this one, it would be super cute to use some nautical rope, and that will kind of give it a little more of that farmhouse feel. But since I always do farmhouse things, it seems like lately that's what I've been doing more of. I thought I'd show the Glam version and tell you how to do the Farmhouse version. So go ahead and glue this all around the edge, again stopping at the part that's going to be up against the wall. Go ahead and do both of your pieces, and then we're going to be putting this together using our Jenga blocks also for support. So these two pieces are done. They have their trim on them now, and what we're going to be doing is flipping them upside down. I have my Jenga pieces sprayed. The back side and underneath doesn't have to be sprayed. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is figuring out where we want to place the shelves. Now, my shelves, I want to have one a little bit lower and then one a little higher with some space in between so you can actually put stuff on the shelf, but a little bit of a ledge so that things don't fall off of the top shelf. So what I'm going to do is measure out where I want the bottom of my shelf to sit. Make sure your two pieces here are even and that they're lined up well. And then you're going to draw your line with a pencil, just a very light line with a pencil. Okay, I have my lines, and next what we're going to be doing is putting the little shelf support on, which is what these Jenga pieces are for. So we're going to be gluing on using our E6000 and the hot glue. We'll be gluing those parts on. So we're going to be putting E6000. I'm using the E6000 Plus, which I really like because it doesn't have an odor. However, it is pretty runny, so just so that you're aware of that. I'm putting a little bit on there. This one doesn't squeeze out the top, but it will drip out. So you definitely want to keep the lid on there. So the hot glue also on there. And somebody had recently posted something saying they couldn't get their hot glue to stick with the E6000. They cannot overlap. You can't put the hot glue over the E6000 or it won't stick. Okay, so then you're going to line that up at your line and glue that on there, and our shelf will be resting on that so that it gives a little more support. And we're going to do the same here on the bottom. And next what we're going to be doing is gluing on the picture frames. So we're going to be attaching one to each and resting it on top of the little block that we just put on there. We're going to do that on these two, and then we'll be attaching the whole thing together. If you're enjoying my channel, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I love hearing from you, but even better, subscribe if you haven't already and join the Glue Dot family. We have fun here. So these two are now attached to the bottom piece. We're going to go ahead and add our glue. So take your top piece now, make sure that these little blocks go underneath and get those in place before your hot glue solidifies. And the last step, we need to have a way to hang this. So the way that I decided to hang this, because these are so thin over here, so narrow, that it's going to be hard to even use a command strip or anything like that. And I don't want to hang it from these picture frames. So what I'm going to be doing is taking a strip of bling wrap about 2.5 inches long. We're going to be doing 2 of those. And we're going to be gluing those onto the back to make little hooks to be able to put the nails through that hold this up on the wall. So you're going to create your little loop like this and glue these together. So you can see the pieces are attached there, but just to be a little extra secure, I'm going to glue another piece on top of it. So I've cut a piece of about 4 little gems long, and I'm putting a good amount of glue here on the back side of this, because not only will our little gems here help to keep this more stable, but the extra glue will as well, to make sure that doesn't come apart. Well, looks like we're going to put this up on the wall, and I'm going to show you a couple different options for how to do it and see what you think. Hang on, guys.